Where are we? We're 26th of March, Sacred Segments. Thank you for being here, everyone. Amel was just about to introduce herself. I would just go around the group and say hi and your name, if you wouldn't mind.
That's fine.
You go ahead, Amel. Lovely to see you.
Very nice to see you. It's where I'm in Portland, Oregon. So it's
Oh, wow.
I was confused about the time. Last time I was the same way. It's a bit confusing, but I'm glad I contacted you and everything is fine. I don't know what to say, but you want me to introduce my topic or you want me to introduce myself?
Maybe just introduce yourself very briefly, and then we'll come back to you for your topic.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am from Nigeria. I lived in different countries, Germany and France, going to France all the time because my sister is there or was there. And then I found myself in London, and that's where I studied healing and trance mediumship and all that with Carl. And then life took me to the US, and I am here, I think around maybe 20 years. I can't believe it, but I'm here for 20 years. And so I am first language teacher and also a dance performer. And I have been studying healing, and I do a lot of not just reading, healing, everything that is connected with that. And I am very interested in Sufism because my background, my lineage is a Sufi lineage. And that's what I would like to do tonight, is just talk a little bit about Sufism. I don't know who knows about Sufism. And then I would like to invite you to a meditation using the 5 elements.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
It's great to finally meet you. Gudrun, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
hello
me.
and introduce yourself? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Great.
Okay, Comfort.
Please repeat.
Okay, Comfort. Hi, I'm Gudrun. I'm in the UK. And I'm gonna talk later a little bit about Gardner. And yeah, I'm in the UK. I do shamanic healing, but I also have a part-time job in administration. So yeah. I'm original from Austria, so I speak German as well. So if you want to speak German.
Thank you for being here. Great to see you. Oh, hello.
Hi, I'm Carl Preiser, originally from Ireland, now living in Spain. I'm primarily a trance medium. I studied at the College of Psychic Studies in London, and I know Amel for many years now. We know each other very well. And I also do energy work, particularly shifting stuck energies, and working in different kind of modalities using therapeutic and Egyptian pendulums, amongst other things, and also working through trance for energy move clearing and healing.
Thank you, Carl. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Malcolm, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Malcom Sternm. I'm the founder of Alternatives at St James's Piccadilly, which some of you will probably know. I'm a psychotherapist, psychologist, and I've written a book called Slay Your Dragons with Compassion, which I'm very proud of. It's my 3rd book, and it's the one. And I run a podcast series called the same thing, Slay Your Dragons with Compassion.
Oh, you do? Great. Great. Yes. Okay, good to know. I look forward to hearing about that. And just before I hit record, Cleona introduced herself, and you mentioned that you've also written a book. Would you just share the title with us one more time, please? You're muted, so just unmute and let us know that title one more time for the recording.
I have not published it yet, but it will be published later this year. It's called Ever the Sea Calls Me Home, A Pilgrimage of Awakening. and it's about my journey, my guidance to give up everything in England and get on the road. And I find myself in Corfu now, living here, where I've been for the last yeah, three years. Yeah, so
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, great. Just before I go over to Amel once more, for her to begin her section, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Alexis Constantinou. I'm a singer with an interest in metaphysics and healing. I am a metaphysical coach, as well as a few other things, singing teacher. I won't go into all of the things that I do, but my passion in the field of metaphysics and healing led me to set up this group, which is an exploration of healing and metaphysics, and a platform for other people and myself to all explore this weird and wonderful topic that's so diverse, covers such an array of different things. So I'm really pleased to have you all here. Thank you for joining us. Other people may come in and they may go. You do what you need to do. Amel, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to also say that with Carl, we had a spiritual group in London, and we used to do a lot of channeling, and we are still connected, actually. One of our friends, she's in Brazil, and sometimes when we need something, we try to connect with each other, and that is always amazing, because now with Zoom we can still talk to each other and interact with each other, and that was always very, very special for us. So I am going to give you a little introduction to Sufism, because a lot of people, especially in the, I don't know exactly in Europe, but in the US, when they talk about Rumi is Rumi, but Rumi, they don't know that actually Rumi belongs to Sufism. And of course, Rumi is the most translated Sufi master. But there are other Sufi groups, because Sufism has to do with Islam. You cannot separate Sufism from Islam. And that is very important, because nowadays with Islamophobia and all that, people are confused about Islam. I'm a Muslim, and I'm very proud to be Muslim, because the Islam I grew up with was about tolerance and love. And in Sufism, there is one organ that is the most important one, is the heart. And that's what I'm going to do. Even there's an expression talking about, when we talk about the mind, we talk about the mind of the heart. So even the mind is connected with the heart. So everything is about the heart. The love for God is because of the heart. The breath we are going to do is called also a heart meditation. And I would like to, if some of you are interested, I have, I put something together about Sufism, and then who are the Sufis. The first Sufi, really, it's a woman. It was a woman, and her name is, suddenly I lost my, give me a second. It's Basra. She's from Basra, from Iraq, and her name is Rabia. And Rabia means Rabia. Rabia means the spring, but Rabia is Arba is the fourth, because she was the fourth daughter, and that's why she's called Rabia. She is called Rabia al-Basriya, and she was really the first who became a Sufi, and she was very poor, and she honored her poverty. She was going to go to Mecca with a donkey, and people, then the donkey was sick, and the people were wanted to help her, and she refused their help because she wanted to do it herself with honoring that poverty. She there is a lot about Basra. Maybe another time I would like to talk about her. But for now, I would like to talk about Sufism in general. So we have different schools. They are not called schools, they are called orders. In Arabic, they are called silsila. Silsila, for me, is much more important than, more significant than orders. Is the silsila is a chain. And sometimes when we belong to that silsila, we have an expression, that we do. If you know about Gnawa people, for example, in North Africa, they do this before they start the ceremony. So, like I said, the first organ is the organ of the heart. So with the heart, we know God or the Almighty or the Creator, and the essence of all things. It reflects the full content of the divine mind. What is important in Sufism is God or the divine is not outside of you, is inside of you, and it's in the heart. So the spirit which loves him, the innermost ground of the soul which contemplates him, while the ordinary, the knowledge is called the ilm in Arabic, and is obtained by studying, by hard work, but there is a kind of a knowledge in Arabic is called ma'rifa that can be obtained by conventional means. There are some studies to do. So basically, the Sufis, they follow paths, and that's what we call the silsila. So each path is a little bit different, but there is something common that they do together. It's first of all, the breath work. The heart is all connected with the heart. And also something that is very important for me as a dancer is the dance, is the movement. It's through the movement, it's through the whirling that you can reach that kind of, from the heart, you are looking at the heart. If you know about the whirling dervishes, when they are turning, they are really looking at the heart, because everything is about the heart. And so there are different orders. It's interesting, me who grew up with that kind of, I would say, education more than praxis, because I wasn't aware that actually the way I was educated was different from others, is always to be fair. And only once I decided to go to see my ancestor who has a mosque built. And that when I was there, I realized actually the family was, the members of the family, they were buried in the mosque. And when I looked at them, I looked at their graves, there's always like something that looks like what Rumi used to wear. And then I did a lot of research and I find out about my order. But I am very private. I don't really share that with, I'm not in a Sufi group here in the US. There is something different that the way I was taught. It's like, maybe another time I talk about that. But anyway, I would like to start this meditation practice. I would like you, it's up to you if you would like to close your eyes or let your eyes open, and just start collecting your energies, disperse energies, and bringing them from the outside world back to yourself. And just, inhale and exhale. And make sure that you are sitting in a comfortable place. Your feet are flat on the floor. Your spine is straight, yet very relaxed. And take a couple of slow, deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And just release everything in your mind, all the thoughts. Just let them go. And just use this breath. You don't need to do it consciously. just inhale and exhale. And slowly just sink into a quiet place of ease and comfort. Even if you have any kind of pain, just release that pain. And still your mind and the senses so that you can directly experience the inner reality of the heart. And in Sufism, the heart is where the physical heart is located. Just focus your attention of your heart. Still breathing in and breathing out. And now just listen to the heartbeat. If you cannot hear it, just put your hand on your heart and just tap and just move forward and backward very gently. Until you connect with the heartbeat. And now we are going to do a mantra that is very important in Sufism. We call it zikr. Zikr is the remembrance, remembering that the divine or Allah, it's in your heart. And now we try to, let's breathe in and say, Al, and when you breathe out, say, La. And we do that with breathing in. Inhale and say Al, and say La. Al, La. Al, La. Al, La. Al, La. Al, La. Al, La. And gently, Al, and quietly, La. Al, La. Al, La. And quietly, Al, La. Al, La. Al, La. And keep your attention on the sound, the Almighty, and awaken love in your heart, because love is in the heart. Love is the connection that we have with the divine. And just focus on that. Focus on the love. And inhale gently and exhale gently. Even if you are doing it quietly, keep that word, Allah, with a breath. In Allah, Allah, Allah. And now we are going to focus on the 5 elements. The first element is you are going to begin to breathe naturally in and out with your nostrils or your nose for 5 full breaths. The first series focus on purifying yourself with the element earth. As you inhale, imagine that you draw the energy and magnetism of the earth up into you. It circulates through your subtle energy system and replenishes and renews the vitality and strength of your body. As you exhale, imagine that the magnetic field of the earth draws all the heavy, gross elements and energies with you down into the ground. And just keep doing that. Inhaling and drawing the energy, the magnetism of the earth up to you. Let it circulate. And when you exhale, imagine that that magnetic field of the earth is drawing all the heaviness, all the sadness, every slow energy, the gross elements, and it within you down into the earth, into the center of the earth. And just keep that image. Bringing that earth energy up. And when you exhale, just release every heaviness that you have down to the center of the earth. And let that energy to be purified and released. With each breath, you will feel revitalized, lighter, less dense, and clearer to the free flow of breath, life, and energy. And just see, it's like a circulation from the earth energy, bringing that amazing earth energy up. And when you exhale, just release it to the center of the earth to be recycled. And that is purifying yourself with that element earth. And now, with a second series of 5 breaths, imagine purifying yourself with the energy of water. You can imagine water, you can imagine a waterfall. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. So earth energy is nose, now is nose and mouth. Envision a waterfall of pure, clear energy pouring down into you from the heavens above, flowing through you and dissolving, purifying anything within you that might block the flow of life energy, moving through you. With each breath, feel that you are washed clean and clear as the stream of energy and light flows through you. Just imagine that waterfall, inhaling with your nose and exhaling with your mouth. And think about just washing all the density, all the worries, all the slow energies, and clearing your body, clearing your energy with the element water. And still inhaling with your nose and exhaling with your mouth. And you can even imagine yourself making the sound of the water in putting your teeth together and just Inhaling with the nose. When you exhale with your mouth, just make the sound of the water like this. And repeat again. Inhale with your nose. Keep that image of the waterfall and exhale with the sound of the water element. In every element, there is the strength and the quietness, the softness, the gentleness, and the power of the hurricane or the gentleness of the ocean, seeing the waves or the lake. Make that element now much softer and quieter and gentle. And once more. Now let's go to the third element with the next series of 5 breaths. Let's purify ourselves with the element of fire, inhaling through your mouth and exhaling through your nose or through your nostrils. Let the breath flow. Focus on your solar plexus as you inhale, and then rise up and radiate as a light from the heart center, shining out between your shoulder blades, and like a fountain of light up through your crown of your head. Inhaling fire, exhaling light. Envision and affirm that this circulation of energy is a purifying fire, gathering any remaining of impurities and congestion and burning them into the radiance and light in the fire of your heart. I'm going to repeat this again. So, inhaling with the mouth, exhaling with the nostrils of the nose. Let the breath flow. Focus on your solar plexus as you inhale, then rise up and radiate as light from your heart center, shining out between your shoulder blades, and like a fountain of light up through your crown of your head. Inhaling fire, exhaling light. Envision and affirm that this circulation of energy is a purifying fire, gathering any remaining impurities of congestion and burning them into radiance and light in the fire of your heart. And when you are inhaling with your mouth, imagine you are like sipping and exhaling with your nose. And there is a moment where you really feel that fire coming up and sipping it. And quieter and gentle. And stay in that element fire for a while, just feeling this coming from the solar plexus, coming up to the heart and going around, and just taking all the congestions and heavy energies, burning them and transforming them to the light. And now we are going to do 5 cycles of breath with the element air to purify ourselves with the element air. This time you are inhaling and exhaling through your mouth, like this. Imagine the air element sweeping through you like the wind blowing through the spaces of your whole body, purifying any sense of density or obstruction that may remain. And again, and you can imagine the wind. You can imagine the wind blowing, and you can make it with the sound. And you can make it gentle like a beautiful breeze. And just keep that element of air surround you. And stay in that stillness for a moment. Before we go to the 5th element, that is ether, I would like to go back to the element of earth, to do the sound of the earth, and that is usually is the honeybee. And doing the sound where inhaling with your nose and exhaling with your mouth, and let your lips vibrate and make the sound of the honeybee, because without the honeybees we cannot live. The honeybee gives us not just honey, but give us food, everything to live with. And inhale, and when you exhale, make the sound of the bee. And repeat again, inhaling with the nose, and while you are exhaling with the mouth, just do that beautiful sound of the bee. and a little bit gentler, quieter. And just take a deep breath and stay in this element, earth, connecting with the bees and calling them to come back to us. And ether, the element ether, is breathing very gently through your nostrils. And envision yourself, imagine yourself being purified by the most subtle element of ether, of the ancients, or the most subtle energies that infuse space, or the quantum field of infinite potentials. Let this most subtle breath dissolve any remaining sense of solidity or density, and let your heart and mind open to be clear and vast like the infinite sky. And let's just, it's much more inside. It's a very subtle kind of breath. And just feel this gentle energy of the ancients, of the space, the quantum field of infinite potential. And let that subtle breath dissolve any remaining sense of density, solidity, and let your heart and mind open to be clear and vast like the infinite sky. And usually ether, it's about the Holy Spirit, where all the elements are there. And just stay in those elements for a while, and just inhaling and exhaling in that silence that is bringing clarity and potential. Nurturing you from the heart with love, thinking with love, bringing that divine in you. And just take a last deep breath, inhaling, exhaling, and when you are ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I could very much feel your priestess, ancient energy coming through.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you. It was magical. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's all just take another deep breath. Did you want to say something? Sorry.
No, only if you have any questions. I do a lot of sound healing, and I like combining the sound healing and the sound, the Sufi sound healing of the elements, because breath is everything. We are born with breath, the first breath, the last breath, and so many, even if we are involved in spirituality, we forget to breathe. And we have to remind ourselves that deep breaths are so important to release everything, pain, sadness, frustrations. And thank you. You are welcome to ask me questions if you have questions. And if you are interested in having this handouts I have, I can send that to Alexis and he can send that.
Can you post it on the group, the Facebook group, Sacred
Yeah.
Segments?
Actually, I could do that.
So please share your website if you have.
Yes. Yes,
Both in the chat and on the Facebook group.
I will do that. Thank
Any
you.
of us that want to connect with you, plus there's like 300 or 400 people in the whole Sacred Segments community.
That's great.
I don't have a question, but I just do want to say that it felt very powerful. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to all of you.
Anybody else have any questions or any that they would like to say to Amel?
Got a bit emotional. I have to share. It really touched my heart. I'm a bit closed in my heart. And you know, I closed my heart.
Yeah.
And it really helped me to reconnect in my heart. And even now I feel like, you know, I got the chill going. And yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
You know,
Very
just
powerful.
touching your heart and tapping, it's really important. You know about tapping anyway. Everybody knows about that. So just tapping, inhaling with it, it really helps a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you touched my heart, literally. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Me too. Very much hope you will come back, Amel. Please feel free to stay for the rest of the group. We're going for another 45 minutes. We've run a little over time, but it was wonderful. Gratefully.
Thank you.
If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat for Amel. I'm going to move on just because of time now to Malcom. Thank you again for being with us. I'm excited to hear about your work and interested also to learn that you have a podcast. I'm intrigued. Please tell us more about your book and your work.
Well, my book is called Slay Your Dragons with Compassion, and it was endorsed by Eckhart Tolle, which I've got his quote on the front cover, and Jack Cornfield, Liz Gilbert, other people like that. And I wrote it after my daughter took her own life. And I recognized that I had a number of practices that I was already using that were allowing me to navigate adversity. And so the book I wrote was really a book. I think I wrote a textbook for myself, actually, so I could actually clarify what it is that I needed to do. So, and I started a podcast with the same name, and it's about people who've been through adversity and found some resources. So one of the people I interviewed was Joe Berry, whose father, Sir Anthony Berry, was killed in the Brighton bomb blast, was the only Tory MP killed. And she now goes out and lectures with Pat McGee, who's his murderer, on forgiveness. And so I'm very interested in how adversity shapes us. And I think it's part of what we're going through right now as a whole planet, that we're going through enormous adversity. And we have to find some resources in ourselves. I think the main chapter for me in the book is on Sangha, which is the Buddhist terminology for communion with others of like mind. And that's really my mission now, is to actually create Sanghas. So I run a 1-year psychotherapy group in London, 1 weekend a month. I've just been at the Compassionate Mental Health Conference in Wales, teaching there as well. And basically it's, I see that we need to actually hang together, because I think that it's really, really tough out there right now, and it's going to get tougher. And that's not defeatist. It's just a statement of the fact that actually we are in a time of disintegration. So I'm really starting to see the need for integration and the need for traveling with fellow pilgrims along the road that we're going along. Yeah, what else am I going to say about this? I think that, for me, it's like what I'm seeing is that I used to believe that I was one of the good guys, and that so therefore I shouldn't suffer too much, and so I didn't suffer too much when I was younger, and I thought that that's I'm obviously in tune with God, and I used to wear white all the time and talk with a very soft voice and see myself as very spiritual. But I have this series which I started in 1982 at St James's Church, Piccadilly, called Alternatives. It was called Turning Points originally, and I realised that a lot of people who are so-called spiritual were actually they were just doing a different song and dance act, and that actually the true spirituality. I started to recognise that some of the people we put on were people who were genuinely in touch with something very deep. And Ramdas, who I was very fortunate to put on a number of times and go on a number of retreats with him as well, used to talk about transmission. When we speak and we bring something through, and I think Amel just has demonstrated that the transmission of the meditation that she brought through, there's something that happens rather than it's just words. And interestingly, a lot of the Sanskrit language, a lot of the chants that I've been doing are in Sanskrit, and that's a language which is a sacred language which carries something of the words in it. Also, interestingly, you just reminded me, Amel, of my early days of study were with Pir Vilayat Khan, who was the son of Hazrat Vilayat Khan of the Chishti order of Sufis. So I spent 5 years with the Sufis in meditation camps and also in regular weekly meditations. Also worked with Irina Tweedy, who some of you may know, who wrote The Chasm of Fire. And Irina Tweedy used to go around to her house on a Friday evening, and there'd be about 60 people lying on the floor, and we'd all have visions. And I just thought it was normal that you have visions in this space. So I've been very fortunate to come across some very profound people, probably because of the series Alternatives. I met a lot of people through this series, but I've been educated in lots of different ways. And for me, this starts to come home to roost when we have to go through whatever we go through, because of course it's a load of rubbish that if you're a good person, life doesn't give you any crap. That's not the truth. And I think that it's what I've come to realize is that it's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with what happens to you. So for one person, they can be, I mean, my great example was the guy who wrote got his name now. Victor Frankl, who was in the concentration camps and became enlightened through his suffering, and that's extremely rare. I mean, most people get crushed and they get destroyed by their suffering. But there are many. I'm looking at very interested in the inspirational figures who've shown up in the world, who bring a great deal of light to the world. And we were also very fortunate at Alternatives to host Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist seer and holy man, and he genuinely was a holy man. There was something about being with him. We also hosted Eckhart Tolle, who used to be in our audience actually in the 1980s. He lived on park benches and he was a bit of a bum, and I knew him then as well. And so actually I've kept a relationship with him over the years. And actually what Eckhart shows is the value of real presence. And that's again quite rare. There's a sort of sense that I know when I've been in his company, he's always present. And that might sound like either something or nothing, but the reality is that I was very aware of his capacity to hold presence no matter what he was doing. So I think I've been very interested in the holiness that surrounds us as human beings on planet Earth, and of course there are practices we can undertake. So for me, like that, I mean, that meditation was absolutely beautiful and was a real opportunity to sort of still the restless mind that goes on. And so I think my task, my path at this time is a search for bringing more light into the world. Not getting too aggrandized with myself either. That's quite easy to sort of, someone just said to me, I ran an amazing workshop at Compassion and Mental Health. I said, yeah, of course, but actually that's full of egotistical rubbish when I say something like that. It's actually the reality is that I think we've got tasks to do at this point in time. And I'm very taken with Rabindranath Tagore, his statement of he said, I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I woke and found that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy. And there's something for me about the recognition that we are in service. Bob Dylan wrote, "You've got to serve someone" in one of his in his songs. Um, and so I'm actually seeing life quite differently than I used to see it through my much younger eyes. In my much younger eyes, my father used to say, "Where's your ambition, son?" Because he wanted me to make a lot of money and become a professional of some kind. But actually, what I'm starting to see is that we are used by life. And I'd like to read you a quote, if I can, by George Bernard Shaw about purpose, which for me is one of the great key statements. And this is what it says. This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one. The being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle for me. It is a sort of splendid torch which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. And I love inspirational writings like that. I love when someone brings something through. For example, the Dalai Lama said, for me, the best statement on religion that I've heard, which is, "My religion is kindness." And it's like we can have all sorts of sort of fancy, and I've seen a lot of this alternatives. I saw a lot of people come through with very fancy bag of tricks, but actually, I think there's something about that we are actually, for me, the essence of psychotherapy, which is my practice, what I do in life, is love. It's not cleverness. It's not sort of helping people move the furniture around the place. It's actually offering a place of love. And when I'm in that place of being the therapist, or when I'm in that, it's a very spiritual task. And I do see that that's who I am in that moment. But when I come out of that and I'm in my normal everyday life, I can't capture that to the same degree. In the way that Eckhart actually does have it, for me, he has it at all times. When I've seen him and I've spent some time with him, yes. And the same with Ram Dass. I saw that there was he lived love. So I think that we need to find love. Um, uh, I I think that love is calling us to actually transform. I think the what we're going through in life at the moment, which is the breaking down of the old. And interestingly, what happened in America with Donald Trump winning the election and not, if Kamala Harris had won, it would have been more of the same. And the whole mold has been broken. Now, I'm not a particular Donald Trump fan, um, but I'm also open to the fact that actually people come and play a role. And in the same way as Judas Iscariot played a role in the life of Jesus, I think that Donald Trump is playing a role right now that's out there. Now, who knows what destruction will come our way? But I do think that we need to band together. So the reason when Alexis invited me to come and do something here, it's just I try and say yes to whatever comes my way, just to meet with people and see what's around. But I think I'd rather dialogue with you for any more of the time we use. I just wanted to sort of present my philosophy, my way of thinking, and whatever else. But I'd be interested to sort of see if there's anything that we want to have a chat about. And if we don't, that's also fine. Don't feel like you've got to conjure up questions or even statements. They don't have to be questions.
I'm a big fan of Eckhart Tolle. The power of now put everything in so clear perspective for me.
Yes.
Like, like the whole concept of the pain body, and then automatically the generational trauma. Yeah, honestly, it really, I knew it somehow, but he put it right in writing in word for me, like, yeah, this is it. And yeah, it's amazing. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm a big fan of his now as well. It's I'll just show you something here.
I'm really sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Malcolm, sorry. It's actually about 10 o'clock here. And
You've got
so
to go. Yeah, I did hear you say earlier you may have to leave.
yeah, I do need to leave, but it's really fascinating what you're talking about. I'd love to know more. So I'm going to come back and watch the replay later, no, tomorrow.
Right,
And
and do check out my podcast Under Slay Your Dragons with Compassion YouTube. They're free. I've done about 50 of them so far, and there's some really interesting interviews. Like people like Terence Stamp I've got on there, and other quite interesting characters who've been through something.
wow, yes, I definitely want to check you out. It's very interesting. Thank you so much, Alexis, and thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emil, for your lovely meditation. And I'm sorry, Gudrun and Carl, I'm not going to stay longer, but have a beautiful rest of the evening. Good night.
Good night. Nice to see you. That's Eckhart and I. Just before I put him on at the Albert Hall in 2019.
Amazing. Good night.
Good night. Cheers.
I just would like to say, for those of you that weren't on the group when we started, Malcolm is based, well, he's part of his work at St. James, where I sing. And it was just such an incredible synchronicity because we didn't know each other. We've never met before. And we've both been working there for many years. And our paths have never crossed.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
And tonight, I shed tears of the only words that I can say, sacred honoring, perhaps. And I just wanted to recognize the power behind not only this group, but all of us. And thank you for bringing that through.
Well, Alexis, I also want to say that you're creating a Sangha here as well. And that's what I'm very interested in, is actually places where people can gather and share wisdom and share their hearts and their depths. And so for me, those Sanghas are springing up everywhere and they're essential. And so, blessings on the work you're doing here and gathering people together in this way as well.
Thank you. What does the word Sangha mean?
Sangha means communion with others of like mind.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
And I could read you Thich Nhat Hanh's definition of Sangha. Sangha is more than a community. It is a deep spiritual practice. A Sangha is a community of friends practicing the Dharma together in order to bring about and contain awareness. The essence of a Sangha is awareness, understanding, acceptance, harmony, and love. When you do not see this in a community, it is not a true Sangha, and you should have the courage to say so. But when you find these elements are present in a community, you know you have the happiness and fortune of being in a real Sangha.
It reminded me of my daily practice that I've been doing this year of a program called PQ. It was developed by a professor at Harvard. I don't know if you know him, but he developed, it's called positive intelligence, or positive intelligence quotient, and there's short focuses and meditations that you do every day to alchemize the suffering and to not focus on the saboteur energy, but to transform the saboteur into the sage. And you know, it's like an hourly practice, if you like. And I find it remarkable that you've taken the tragedy of your daughter's death and created something profound and moving and healing. It's just wonderful.
Well, thank you, Alexis. Because actually, you know, when it happened to me, I just thought this, you know, it's like the most terrible curse that can happen when then it happens. And what I didn't realize, and what we don't realize, is that we are being molded by the things that happen to us, mold us. And I found that my work deepened, my connections with others deepened. And when I wrote the book, it's the third book I've written, and the other two books have taken me 4 years to write. This took me 7 months because I felt like Melissa's spirit was with me, and it just felt like I wrote the book, which was at her request. I needed to actually make sense of her death. And I felt an immense sense of peace when that happened, when I wrote it, and you know, it was very nourishing when people like Eckhart said this is a really important book. So that was profound. But the other thing that happened to me that I just would like to share with you guys is in 2021, which is 4 years ago, I had a heart attack, and it was quite a serious heart attack. And I was in a lot of pain, and I was in the ambulance being blue lighted to hospital, which is an experience all of itself as well. And suddenly I thought I might die. And suddenly I had this realization that I've written my legacy book. I told my other daughter I'd written a legacy book. She said, "Dad, you don't write legacies till after you're dead. You can't have a legacy when you're alive." But anyway, I wrote my legacy book. And then and I've lived, I think, a good life. I think the world is a better place for my having been in it than worse. I've made mistakes, as we all do, but overall. And suddenly this moment of bliss came over me. And I've just read a lovely book by Sebastian Junger called In My Time of Dying. And he was basically dying for a number of weeks. He was in intensive care and dying. And having been a complete atheist, his father came to him during this period, and his whole experience was transformed. But what happened for me when I was in the ambulance, when this experience came over me, this feeling of bliss, is I felt that there is nothing bad. I just felt like life is this extraordinary. We're here for a limited period of time. It's this extraordinary education in one of the weirdest universities you could dream up, in these weird bodies, which they're also weird that you could dream these up. And we have practices like sex, which is also extremely weird when you think about it. There's a lot about the human condition that's very odd, but also quite extraordinary. And the mathematical sort of likelihood of us being alive in this place. If you read for me, Carl Sagan was one of the great educators who wrote Cosmos, and the TV series changed my view of life. And what he said is that there are more stars in our galaxy than there are grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth. And then there are more galaxies than there are grains of sand. So it's astronomical. What we get is I'll just do the astronomical. Something happens when I do this. Let's see if I can create an effect. Sorry, it's like, that's it. There we go.
Wow.
It's a bit of astronomy for you.
How did you do that?
Someone showed me it last night, actually. If you put two fingers up like this, I've got the new Mac. If you put one finger up, you get that thing there. But then when you put two fingers up like this, it does this. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's working.
That's so cool.
It's so cool.
I love that. I think only you've got the magic touch there with your computer.
And then you can launch some rockets as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Malcolm?
Thank you very much, Malcolm, for the whole story and the way you were talking. I like I mean, it's adversity and disintegration, and we are in that, especially living here in America. You see that every day there are changes every day. People are losing their jobs. Companies are closing. It's like we are in the unknown, and there is probably a reason why we have somebody like Trump. It's like the darkness of the soul. We have to go in that darkness of the soul to
Very
find
good. Yes.
to find our way, and because you open the even if it's just the news, or it's always something happening, and then what can we do with all this information? What can we do with all the things that are happening now? We have to go back to ourselves and bring that light.
And we also have to have sanghas. We also have to have communion with others of like mind, so we can stay strong as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, we have to rise the vibrations, because I mean, even if you have friends and they're all talking about the terrible things that are happening, and especially Trump is representing all that, and there are some people who are living in fear. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and she said, don't leave the US. If you go out, you don't know if you can come back.
Wow.
And it's people who don't like him, he stopped them if they have a green card, and you are able to, probably won't be able to come back. And if you can bite into that, then you live in fear all the time. And if you just try to, it's like the river, it's like the water, and just let that go, because we need to find that love, we need to find that heart, we need to find that community. Otherwise, we cannot survive it.
Yes. It's funny,
You know.
I got a biography of Hitler out from the library recently, quite a new biography. And it's like reading what's happening now in the States. It's like reading what happened in Nazi Germany is like reading what's happening now in the States. So I often think, I wish I'd had a gun with me in 1976 or something like that, when I had lunch with Donald Trump in the 1970s at the Playboy Club. And he was charming, and I was the estate agent then, and he was wanting us to find him properties and stuff like that. And it is so scary that we're recreating. It's almost like history repeats itself, and we're recreating that. So I think it's really good that there are people like you, Amel, in the States who are. It's like if everyone left the sinking ship, there will need to be challenge, and I'd love to see someone who's got the capacity to challenge the ruling order now as well, because it feels very scary to see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we have to live.
Yes.
We have to eat, we have to work, we have to do something, but we have to gather.
Yeah, we have to gather. Yes, very good.
Yeah.
I would just like to ask Malcolm, the name of your two other books.
They're The Courage to Love and Falling in Love, Staying in Love. They're both about relationships, of which I know very little actually, but the arrogant sod I was in the 1990s and the 1980s when I wrote those, wrote that stuff. And I'm not I'm not over the moon about those books, but I am very happy with Slay Your Dragons, and it was really great that Watkins publishers took it on, because I don't have this great social media following and all that sort of stuff, and normally I wouldn't have got published. But the editor of Watkins is a friend of mine, so it helps.
It's a great bookshop.
Yeah.
Could you repeat that name again? The last book you published?
It's called Slay Your Dragons with Compassion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, please also let us know your website if you wouldn't mind.
It's malcomstern.com.
Okay, fantastic. And feel free to share that on the Facebook group as well.
Sure, yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you. And thank you for this evening. I did also want to say, Amel, that what you said about not living in fear is so poignant and powerful. And it's so true that we create our reality with our thoughts. And, you know, fear is the sure way to attract more of what we don't want, right?
And we're living in America. It's really not just Trump. I mean, Bush, everybody else. They're living in fear all the time.
And we live in this mind soup where everything is bringing us the idea of fear all the time. So we have to be mindful about what we're attaching to, what we're focusing on, what the thoughts are that we're thinking, how we're feeling, all of the time. It's a game, right? It's a type of game.
And we get surprised. I get surprised that sometimes there is fear in me, you know, even if I am try to face it, but there are moments where the fear is around.
Oh, yeah.
But
I think that's very realistic, Amel, as well. I remember being with Mrs. Tweedy, who I mentioned earlier, who was an extraordinary woman. At the age of 80, she was broken by her Sufi master and became an amazing teacher who hosted these meditations, which were full of visions and visionaries. And I once was round to her place, and there were riots nearby, and she's a woman in her 80s, and she was terrified. And it was like this woman was so powerful. But we all have a mixture of all of
yes,
this. If we deny our fear, I think mastering our fear is actually the work we have to do. And I think you're right, Alexis, when you say that fear draws it to us as well. I think there's something about, but also recognizing that this is a very strange world we're living in.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Thank you, guys. Gudrun, I'm going to come to you now because you're going to talk about, this is a good lead-in from where you guys have just left off, about finding light into darkness, or finding light after darkness, rather. And please give us more light on that.
I've been thinking about that, and it's like our perception of darkness itself. Yeah, why are we saying darkness is bad? In shamanism, we say close your eyes to see more clearly. And there's also like a initiation where you spend, I don't know, a couple of days in complete darkness in shamanism. And you navigate in the darkness. And if you think of the metaphysical aspect, darkness cannot be measured, but light can be measured. So why is darkness the bad one? You know what I mean? If you close, if I do my shamanic practice, if I do healing work, and I do soul retrieval, for example, and soul retrieval is basically, I go through time and space to the place where the person experienced a severe trauma, and I bring back the part they lost there, so they can be complete, yeah? And when I go there, I don't see bright lights or anything. Usually I find people in dark places, in tunnels, hidden in caves, or under the bed, or in the corner, protecting themselves, or you know what I mean? And yet to come back to you, and what I realized is, if we stop judging the darkness as bad, then we create more light. Because like you say, what you resist persists. And if we integrate our own darkness by accepting our own darkness. Yeah, you know, too many people, the spiritual people or society, I'm angry, oh, I'm shocked, I'm angry, I can't be angry, why am I angry? Angry can be a superpower. Anger can move. I remember as a child, I was challenged, angry, and we were playing tennis, and I used to be rubbish in tennis. But I was so angry, all of a sudden I could throw the ball like, whoa, yeah. You can produce such a, and you see the aggression with anti-Trump, this is a manifestation of ourselves. Around us, every war we create with our anger. Yeah. So if you say, oh, I'm angry about Trump, you create another war. By accepting he's just a person. It's like Hitler. Oh, Hitler was the bad one. But Hitler didn't kill everyone himself. It was those people who followed him. And then the key is to take responsibility for oneself. How are you thinking? You're angry, you're aggressive, you create the war out there. You are part of the suffering. Because you're all energy workers, yeah? I know, when I'm angry, what I create around myself, what I attract in my life, when I'm not within clearing myself, how much pain I create around myself. You know what I mean? Plants dying. Little things. And in that, we only can create a change by accepting our darkness without judgment, embracing it as a part, because there is no night without the sunshine.
Mhm.
And there is no rain without the sunshine. You know what? There's no, yeah, it's all connected, it's all one. And the moment we accept our darkness, including the darkness from our past, that we can heal the past. And generational past. Like Malcom said, we have another, we see another Hitler scenery. But why did that happen? Because we haven't healed. We can heal. Yeah? What happened in Israel, Palestine? Yeah? Sufi, anti-Islam. Why? This didn't start today or yesterday. This is a conflict, centuries, repeating. Why? Because we didn't go back to the source and heal the source. In shamanism, I go ancestral lineage healing, where I go to the beginning of each, mom and dad ancestral lineage, and I heal from there. And that's how we create healing. We have to heal the past. We have to forgive our parents, our grandparents, our grandparents. If we don't do that, history will repeat and repeat because we haven't healed the repeating pattern. We haven't healed and accept the cruelty happening back then. When I was a child, we got beaten up. This was normal. Now it's child abuse. Yeah, you see the difference? But we have to heal. Many generations, my generation, still beat up their children because they haven't healed their childhood. And that's how you repeat. The anger, the oppression, yeah? Germany is crucified until today because of the Second World War. We need to heal that. Only this, we cannot vanish the darkness from ourselves, but we can accept it and create a superpower with it. And integrate it to make good things. Like the plants need the night to rest. We can use the darkness to rest. And then so we can shine brighter. If we don't shy, if we fight the darkness, we use our light too much for fighting. You never can eliminate the darkness because it's part of the universe. Look out, if you turn off the lights and then you go outside and at night, it's dark. How are you going to eliminate that? It's a natural dark, it's part of us. And we have to learn to reconnect, to walk around us. In America, I went to a Native American ceremony. You people, just go back to the Native Americans and your life is sorted. Get no, grow your native plants again. Go back to the root. In Europe, we need to stop this government taking away and I don't know, farmer gardens. We can start growing our own food. Go back to the basics. If you want to heal the world, go back to the basics. And the basic is human live with nature. This is being human. Not being up there, or I'm all esoteric and God, and no, come down to earth and live with earth. We are animals. I don't know if we come from monkeys or aliens or whatever, but we are here on Mother Earth to live with Mother Earth. And with Father Sky, and with the stars. And this is where we get our information. This is where we get our light. This is where we get our food, our air, our water. In America, remember, I was in tears. The poison, the water, left, right, and center. This is what we have to protect. We cannot change Donald Trump, but we can change not to follow it. We can change by not giving it energy. Turn off the news. I'm not part of that. I'm looking after my piece of land. I'm showing people how to grow tomatoes, how I grow my food, and get how we can build the land. How can we go off grid? Let's build communities and save the planet, because the planet is the only one feeding us. And the darkness is the night when we rest. It's part of us. And the anger, if you look at it and you allow it and say, okay, I'm angry. It's okay, I'm angry. I'm angry. I accept it. Okay, you're part of me. I accept you. And the anger transforms into love because you give it love. But if you fight anger with anger, you create more anger. You see? We always like, oh, I can't be angry. Oh, I'm so angry. I hate myself that I'm angry. Why am I so angry now? Yeah? But if I can accept you, yeah, you're part of me. No problem. I'm angry. Let's move on.
Gudrun, how could we, in this moment, heal our origins and our ancestors? You know, can you?
The best way for people to feel where you really come from, that you shoot off and ground yourself in nature. Go barefoot. And hug a tree, and you feel where you come from. Or if it's night, put your shoes off, go on the grass and look up at the sky and see your origin, see your father. But have your shoes off and feel the ground beneath you. Feel yourself. Feel yourself. Whenever you're lost, get your shoes off. Feel yourself. How often do you really feel yourself? Yeah? We live here, but we don't really feel ourselves, do we? You know what I mean? Like, feel the grass beneath us. Simple, like extra dollar. That brings you in the present. It's the key. To just be and to connect to your ancestors. You can do, you can do your own meditation, just like a candle, breathe in and then ask for them to come. and they will come, but keep yourself grounded.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And just, you know, the most important thing is to realize that whatever our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents did wrong, they didn't know better, but we know better.
Right.
We know better now. We are here to cut this circle, to stop history repeating itself. This is our mission. Not to get involved in that, not be followers, and make a difference by showing different ways of life and showing, look, they didn't know better, but you know it's wrong to pick up your children. Yeah? So we don't do that anymore. Finish. End of history. Let it go. Don't worry about it. Yeah? Because one person cannot create a world war. And one person didn't kill all the Jewish people. Yeah? I know Hitler wasn't a good person. He was mental. But it was the people following him who did the harm. And we have to take responsibility. Are you a follower, or are you going and say, no, I'm not doing it? And even if I risk my life for that, doing the right thing. And the right thing is to reconnect with nature, come back to the basics of being human being.
It's kind of like a cliche, isn't it, when you hear energy goes where attention flows, but it's so true.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely so weird. Honestly, it's bizarre, but it's so true.
Yeah.
And really, you create your dark cloud, or you accept your darkness. You know, you can carry and be. I mean, I'm not. You know, last month I was a bit depressed. I was quite. I just slept a lot and didn't know what's going on. Maybe the planet and everything. And of course, outside things affect us. Yeah. We don't know. I mean, today I saw the news, so we get ready, World War III coming, and like this. Yeah, like, what the fuck? Right? But you know what? We only have today, and we only have today to go today. And whatever will be. And in the meantime, build the paradise every day.
Yeah, that's wise words. Thank you. In
Thank
the
you.
remaining 1 or 2 minutes that we have left, I just want to say thank you to everybody for their contribution this evening. I would just ask that you just place your hands upwards on the palm of your knees with your spine straight, and let's just think down to the Mother Earth and connect with her by feeling, as you suggest, Gudrun, feeling into the earth and visualizing a violet flame coming up through the soles of our feet, contacting that energy from her and requesting that it flow through us all, a scintillating, beautiful violet fire that is the spiritual essence of the Divine Mother Earth. See it transmuting all the lower frequencies within us, around us, and as a collective, transmuting all the lower frequencies of not only us, but the whole planet, honoring our ancestors, honoring the Divine Mother Earth, and visualizing the beautiful sphere that we live on, surrounded in the violet fire, and bringing it to the highest possible frequency in love. And also from above our heads, surrounding not only our heads and our bodies, but the whole entire earth with the white light. From Father Sky and from space, surrounding and protecting our beautiful earth, connecting us all in healing and in love. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. for assisting in the visualization and healing of our beautiful planet. Thank you for your service, everybody, this evening. And in closing, I would like to just go around the group and connect with the power word and the gratitude. I'll start, and my power word is peace. And I am grateful for love. Carl? Power word.
I guess my power word is love, and I'm grateful for community.
Thank you, Carl. Gudrun?
Power word is Mother Nature. No, my power word is reconnecting to Mother Nature.
And your gratitude?
And my gratitude is to this group, to this evening today, and I thank you all very much for doing the work, and that I had the honor to meet you all. Honestly, it was very special. That's my great gratitude. Really helpful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for shining your beautiful light. Thank you. Amel, such a pleasure to meet you finally.
Very nice to meet all of you. I am, my gratitude is a blessing to be able to have this community, because community understanding and exchange is very, very important for me. And living in really the place that is creating the turmoil is trying to bring that light. And thank you for mentioning the darkness, because there is no darkness without light, and there is no light without darkness. And my teacher, Keith Cuspron, used to say that the darkness is where we meditate. The meditation is in the darkness, and we find that light in that darkness, in that meditation. Very nice to meet all of you. Malcom, I'm very impressed about all the work you have done, and I'm very eager to see to read your books. And thank you, Alexis, for having me. Usually Wednesdays I have a writings group, but you are here every 2 weeks. So I try to join you as much as I can.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. What's your power word that you would
My
like?
power word is joy.
Beautiful.
Joy and grace. We need grace. We need a lot of grace now.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much. And Malcolm?
My power word is service, and my gratitude is the opportunity to be of service in the world, and to get out of my own way, so that I'm not my ego's not swamping whatever it is that I do. And what a privilege it is to be in a human existence for a temporary period of time. But what a privilege it is. So that's my gratitude.
What a blessing and an honor it is to meet you and to meet you all, connect with you. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely beautiful. And you brought the sacredness into sacred segments. Thank you. Really appreciate you all. Much love, and have a beautiful evening. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. God bless you all.
God bless you.
Thanks.
Good night and good morning wherever you are.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.